Dun, dun. We are live. It's April 10th, 2023, and these are your Fortean Files. Dun, 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 dun. Another week has passed. We are already joined by Farmer Fred Smith this evening. Thank you for joining us, Farmer Fred Smith. Yeah. Past week I healed up a little more, got a little better. Read The Hobbit. Read The Hobbit. I haven't read The Hobbit since I was a little kid. It was probably the book that got me interested in reading fantasy. It was definitely the book that got me interested in reading fantasy.
It's a popular one.
For sure. But in reading it as an adult, not that good.
Different experience.
Not that good. I can appreciate it, and it was rough to read. But then I got to the end and I decided to go forward with reading The Lord of the Rings. Now, I don't know what changed between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, but the writing style is like 1,000 times different. It's way better. Now I haven't looked at the chronology of like when he wrote one, and
that's what my mind was going to.
And how much he wrote in between there.
Right.
But as I was reading The Hobbit, I'm like, please tell me that this whole fucking thing, because when I was a kid, I had only read The Hobbit, and then I think I read a short portion of The Fellowship of the Ring, because I had a little box set that my father had brought home from England. He went over to England. My aunt's husband was stationed over there, so they went over to visit. And he brought back this 4-book set. They used to sell them in these little cardboard boxes. You'd have like the artwork on the outside.
Yeah. Collector's piece.
Right. And I read The Hobbit. Oh, God, I can't even remember how young I was at that point. But I absolutely loved it. And just never went any further with it. I wound up starting to read other books, other fantasy novels, and just went off on another tangent. But I was surprised in reading it this time around that that it wasn't as satisfying, as an adult to read it, and not as I remembered it either.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Time fucks up your memory.
That's
it
true.
Really does.
Human memory isn't really a reliable thing, so.
Not even in the fucking slightest. Things get stuck in your head that change it. Like there is a movie that was that came out when I was younger. It probably came out maybe before I was born. I'm not sure when The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies, the cartoon / live action. It was weird how they did that. Movies. So I have had that, plus the newer ones that have come out.
Right. It taints your.
And it changed. Yeah, it totally taints your memory.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, though. It's been interesting to go back and read them. I'm about halfway through Fellowship of the Ring right now, or maybe a little bit further than that. And I'm really enjoying that. So We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know where I'm gonna go after the Lord of the Rings. I was seriously considering reading the Chronicles of Narnia. I have never finished the whole set.
I
I
actually was
read
going to ask you that a while back if you had ever read those.
so I've read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I read is it Prince Caspian that comes after that, or The Voyage of the Dawn Treader?
I don't remember the order of them. I don't
I
remember that
don't.
much.
I've read the one that comes after it, and then I think I got into the one that follows that. And then I never went any further with it.
Were you
But I
young?
have. What's that?
Were you young when you did read those?
I was fairly young, but not like super young. I think I was in my early teens.
Oh, right on.
But I have the entire 7-book set in an omnibus on my Kindle. So I'm considering that. I don't know if that's where I'll go after the Lord of the Rings or not.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of other shit too. I counted it out. I have like over 1,000 books on my Kindle. So
That's so wild. That's so awesome, though.
and I've already read 22 this year.
Jeez.
I think somewhere around
That's
there. Or I'm
solid.
on the 22nd book right now. I don't fucking know. But
That's crazy.
I just love fucking reading. And a guy on the Facebook page was saying to me, "God, you read a lot, and I just don't have fucking time for it." Blah blah blah. And it's like, you make time. It's a passion. If you want to do it, you're gonna sit down and do it.
Yeah.
And that's just, you either are or you aren't.
Right.
But for me, it was getting that fucking Kindle. Like I just
Yeah.
couldn't read before that.
That changes it.
The print and the set on the pages in a book was too small for my eyes, and it just was with the light, it just wasn't working for me. I was constantly getting tired, so having a fucking Kindle and being able to blow that up,
Right.
boom,
Well,
changed my life.
and the pace you read at, if you had a physical copy of every book you read, you would like need a fucking storage unit. Like, there's no way you
Well,
could
that's the
keep that
thing.
many books.
Before I did,
Yeah.
and you've seen my apartment.
Yeah.
Like, so I had at one point in time, in this apartment my book
Shit ton
collection,
of books. Yeah.
which was at that time, my book collection at that time was like 600 and something, I think. But then I started selling books too. So I bought a woman's entire collection,
Right. I remember that.
and that was huge.
Right. That was a lot of books.
Massive. I will never forget going up and picking that up.
That's so
It was
crazy.
fucking bonkers, was
Did
what
you
it
get
was.
rid of most of those?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made good money off that.
Good.
Off that buy. Yeah, that was a worthwhile buy. So,
You read more than I ever could. Last year, I was proud to say that I completed 4 full real books in a year. And that was like, I haven't done that since I was like 19. So like, that was huge for
a whole
me.
4, huh?
Yeah. That was a lot.
I read 76.
Oh, that's so unattainable. There's no way I could even dream to read that many books.
I get going with certain ones, like the one that I was talking about last week, Snow. That book I
Yeah.
read in like a day, and it was so easy to read. You just the way he structured it, you just went from one chapter to the next, and you just wanted to know what happened next, what happens
Yeah.
next, what happens next. So it was very well structured in that way. And like I had said, I think on last week's show too, his other book was the same way.
Yeah. When you find
Very,
that good writer that really like gets you,
yeah,
you can get on a roll.
and he's not one that I would say I'm like completely into. I like it because it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like a Stephen King. Stephen King's a different animal.
Right.
You know, so, but I'll see where I go from here. Like, I don't know if I'll go with the fucking Chronicles of Narnia. I fucking had a brain fart there for a minute. The Chronicles of Narnia after Lord of the Rings, but I I'll definitely have to make a decision here at some point in the fairly near future, because there's only 2 more books beyond the one that I'm on right now. And I'm not
You'll be
gonna
done with those in no time. So
yeah, and I'm not gonna go into like the Cimmerillion and all. I have some of those books and the Unfinished Tales. I'm not gonna go into those currently. I don't have any desire.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, he wrote. Well, the thing with Tolkien that most people don't understand is that he wrote the Lord of the Rings kind of as an aside. Like, he was a linguist, and he was creating a language, and one of the things that a language requires is a history.
Yeah.
So he was writing a history of the language as well,
Yeah.
and trying to and he talks about it in the beginning of the Lord of the Rings, that, you know, he's a linguist and he was trying to, work this language out. And, the fans, he wrote The Hobbit, and, fans were asking for more. So he wound up writing The Lord of the Rings. It's an interesting thing that, it's kind of it was kind of an accident, so to speak, in a way. Not really, but kind of.
Well, it was in a time too when people were reading more and really like thirsting for more, like that an author even knows that. Like, I don't know. That's not a common thing in today's society,
At that time, it was like a lot of pulp shit too. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
people just like devoured like pulp novels and, the
Yeah.
magazine short stories and shit like that. There was a lot of that out there.
Well, this might be absolutely insane. I've never read or seen any of the movies. None of it. Not a word. I know nothing.
No, that's blasphemy. No,
I know.
I could give a shit if it's not somebody's cup of tea. It's not somebody's cup of tea. I mean, I'm not a huge like fucking rom-com person, but some people like that shit.
Once in a while, I can read or watch that sort of thing.
I don't read Nora Roberts, but some people do.
Right.
Like, there's something for everybody out there.
Yeah.
I just happen to like fantasy, science fiction, and horror.
Well,
Every
you're not
once in a
alone. A lot
while,
of people really like that shit. It's good stuff.
every once in a while, I like to throw in a true crime novel. Like, I just read the BTK one by John, what's his fuck, the FBI profiler there. And earlier on, I had read the Son of Sam one.
Yeah, that's
By
right.
Maury Terry.
Yeah, I want to read that one.
That's a really good. It was just on sale. You should look and see if the Kindle version still is, because you can read that right on your fucking phone.
Right. I do have a really nice, really big phone too. I totally could, but I like to hold a book still. In the pace I read, it's more manageable.
I liked holding a book too, but having it on that, you can pick it up and read it at any time, put it back down, your place is saved.
See, but I can do that with my book. I carry a really big purse, and I can just put it in my purse.
Yeah.
But
not me.
I know I'm stubborn and old, so
like my device. I fought it like you. I fought and fought and fought. I'll never forget. This will take people back, but Jeff Kelly, anyone who was a longtime fan of the show, he tried to convince me years ago to get a Kindle. And he was like, dude, stop this fucking shit with buying books. Because I was constantly, I'd come back from the fucking bookstore and be like, dude, I just fucking got this, and this for like fucking a few bucks. And he'd be like, what are you doing? And I kept saying the same thing you did. I like the feel of the book. I like being able to go and look at them and data. And I'll tell you, the minute I got that fucking Kindle, it was
a game changer.
It was like night and day. Well, the Paperwhite was rough because I got the Paperwhite first, and it doesn't navigate very well. It reads awesome, but it doesn't navigate very well. So I had to get a Fire to be able to navigate my library better, and look up stuff on the fly really quick. But other than that, it's been a fucking complete game changer. Once I realized how, figured all the ins and outs of the device, how to, increase the size of the text and change the light. Fucking game changer. Yeah. Complete game changer.
It would make it easier for me to carve out time to do it, I suppose, just because I'm more willing to like open up a game and play it for 3 minutes because I got 3 minutes. I can play this game for 3 minutes.
Well, the thing that I like
read
about
my
it,
book for 3 minutes.
Well, here's the thing that I like about it too is it gives you a percentage.
Yeah.
Of how much you're done with the book, and like
you can look at your book and tell that.
I like I said to my old boss, Jay. He was at the wedding.
Yeah, I remember him.
I said it makes it like a fucking game, dude.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
So it makes me want to fucking do more. Like, and then on your phone, you've got the Kindle app, and it tracks it, like how much you read and how many weeks you've been reading, how many days in a row, how many books
like
you've
my
read.
Phone tells me about my stupid phone usage.
Well, or
that's
like
a more positive usage of like, yo, you read this much this week.
Well, it's kind of like the health app in a way.
Yeah.
Keeping track of your fucking steps and bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But it's reading.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So I got into that and I was just like, all right, I'm fucking done. This is, that's all I do.
It does sound fantastic. I haven't.
Since I was a little kid, I've read a lot. My dad taught me how to read when I was extremely young because of his reading issues. He wanted to make sure that his son could read.
Yeah.
It caused fucking problems with us later on, but hey, that's a different story for a different day.
He taught you how to read, man.
But yeah. So since I was a little kid, been reading. And so it's a huge passion. And when I was younger, when I was a teenager and stuff, it was a really great escape for me. And I grew up in a fucking small town where and kids are fucking brutal.
There's not a lot to do.
You want to fucking escape some of that shit sometimes.
Yeah.
A book's a great way to do it. And that's just been my life. And when I lost that and I couldn't do it for a long time, it kind of made me depressed.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. So getting it back was awesome. But enough of that bullshit.
Yeah.
On to the fun stuff of the fucking evening. And I know you sent me a couple of things, Katie. I did not throw them into my news, but I'll grab them at a later time this evening. What are we going to start with tonight? What are we going to go with tonight? Let's go with a Bigfoot story because I don't have many of them. I think I only got one this week, to be honest with you. From rdnewsnow.com. The closest living relative of extinct Bigfoot found. For decades, the legend of Bigfoot has... What the fuck is going on with this fucking... I hate web pages. I hate them, Katie.
They've gotten so bad.
These ads are
ridiculous.
Getting... Yeah. What am I scrolling through? An ad For decades, the legend of Bigfoot has fascinated people around the globe. Is the massive 10-foot tall ape-like creature with shaggy hair a human relative or a missing link in the evolutionary chain? Despite the lack of concrete evidence, both cryptozoologists and anthropologists continue to search for answers. Bigfoot has been part of our collective history since its existence was first alluded to in a 1958 local column in the Humboldt Times. Although other giant ape-like creatures were already part of the folklore around the world, like the abominable snowman of the Himalayas, by then, journalist Andrew Gonzalez brought the beast home when he recounted the story of a road construction crew that had run into huge humanoid 16-inch tracks in the vicinity of Bluff Creek. Gonzalez had written the story almost as an afterthought when he couldn't come up with enough words for his column, but it immediately hit a chord across the nation. Soon, everybody was calling the creature behind the giant footprints Bigfoot, and what started as a casual story soon became the stuff of legends. Today, thousands of aficionados search for Bigfoot regularly in the forests of North America. Aficionados. I like that, Katie. Aficionados.
It's better than expert.
There's even a Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, which documents sites around the country and engages in projects including field and laboratory investigations to study the Bigfoot phenomenon. Did a massive ape creature walk the earth in our long-lost past, long before we ever heard of a mythological ape roaming North America, a very real Bigfoot-like animal called the forests of South Asia home? Meet Gigantopithecus, an ape that went extinct about 300,000 years ago. Scientists didn't even know of its existence until 1935, when a German paleoanthropologist stumbled on a huge molar out of all places, a traditional Chinese pharmacy in Hong Kong. Once researchers learned about Gigantopithecus and started actively searching for fossils, more teeth and jaws turned up in China, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Gigantopithecus was once described as the largest hominid, a subfamily that also includes humans that ever lived, but has recently been reclassified as a close relative of the extinct Savapithecus ape and modern-day orangutans. No Gigantopithecus bones have ever been found, so scientists can only speculate as to what the giant ape looked like. The best guess is that it was at least 10 feet tall and possibly weighed as much as 12,000. Jesus Christ, Chris. 1,200 pounds. As a comparison, the largest modern-day ape gorilla weighs only 400 pounds. 3 times the size of a fucking gorilla. Jesus Christ. How being a vegetarian didn't pay off for Gigantopithecus. Gigantopithecus likely inhabited the earth for over 1.5 million years, eventually disappearing about 300,000 years ago. While scientists don't know much about the giant ape, they do know one thing almost for sure. They were vegetarians. It's obvious from the teeth and jaws found that Gigantopithecus' diet consisted mainly of tough, fibrous plants, fruits, seeds, and bamboo. This sugar-rich diet, which not only wore down the teeth but also caused cavities, is likely what eventually led to Gigantopithecus' extinction. This is because bamboo has been known to go through periods of poorly explained mass die-offs, and when you're a giant ape with a giant appetite and your main source of food suddenly disappears, your chances for survival just aren't that good. In 2013, a team of scientists from the Chinese Academy of Sciences speculated that climate change, low birth rates, and the appearance of Homo erectus encroaching in its territory could have also played a role in the extinction. And then it goes into like why we can't find Bigfoot, because fucking animals drag off the bones, shit like that, all those yada 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 explanations. Which I like the Gigantopithecus theory.
Yeah, I do too, for sure.
I don't know how solid it is. Like, I've gotten more and more jaded with the whole Bigfoot thing over time.
Yeah. I don't know how solid it is for North America. Because where did they find that tooth?
The tooth was found in a Chinese market in Hong Kong initially. And they found jawbones and shit all over Southern Asia.
Yeah. So I don't know that it's like the right thing for US Bigfoot, but it definitely gives credence to the worldwide. I mean, every continent has a Bigfoot, you know, so.
Oh, there's stories of fucking all kinds of shit out there.
Right. So I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Our next story of the evening, Katie. Let's see. What will we go with here? Let's go with a UFO story real quick. From WIOnews.com. Former U.S. fighter pilot says his squadron saw UFOs pretty much daily. Unidentified flying objects were encountered by a U.S. Navy squadron almost on a daily basis for months, according to a former U.S. Navy fighter pilot. These sightings also translated into a near collision at least once, the former pilot added. According to Lieutenant Ryan Graves, in 2014, his squadron, the VFA 11 Red Rippers, began picking up the presence of unexplained objects in the training area off the coast of Virginia. It was almost as if the sun was shining a flashlight on the UAPs, Lieutenant Graves was quoted as saying by the Telegraph. We were trying to figure out what the heck these things were. We were seeing them pretty much daily. We would go out there and they would be out there in the morning. They would be out there in the evening, he told the paper. These things were pretty much always out there. That would range from 2 to 3 of them to 6 or 7. Lieutenant Ryan Graves, an FA-18 Super Hornet pilot, is now leading an effort to encourage reporting of sightings and advocating for scientific study of what the military calls unidentified aerial phenomena. Last year, Congress held its first hearing into UAPs for 50 years, and the Pentagon has received 350 new reports in the last 2 years, 171 of which remain unexplained. During the hearing at the House Intelligence, Counterintelligence, and Counterproliferation Subcommittee, top Pentagon intelligence official Ronald Moultrie said that through rigorous analysis, most UAPs can be identified. Any object we encounter can likely be isolated, characterized, identified, and if necessary, mitigated, Moultrie said. One such incident from 2004, which has no explanation, involves the fighter pilots operating from an aircraft carrier in the Pacific. They reportedly encountered an object that appeared to have descended tens of thousands of feet before stopping and hovering. In another incident shown publicly for the first time on Tuesday, an object can be seen on camera flying past a U.S. Navy fighter jet. The object remains unexplained. There are a small handful of events in which there are flight characteristics or signature management that we can't explain with the data we have available, said Scott Bray, the Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence at the hearing. Those are obviously the ones that are of most interest to us. And that is the end of that story. I don't know. And when it comes to, I mean, he's a pilot, but anything that comes out related to the government, I'm skeptical.
As you should be. I mean,
I feel like there's propaganda involved.
Wow.
Or somebody's manufacturing consent.
Let's remember that, I mean, the topic at hand is something that has to do with defense, technically. So they don't really have to tell us the truth. That's what I try to remember when I hear government entities talking about it. They don't have to tell us the truth about that sort of thing. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
Fine. We don't need to know.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to certain secrets, yeah. Absolutely. No, I get that. But it's like I look at like the JFK thing. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no reason at this point in fucking time that we can't have the whole story laid out. The
I
fact
think
that they're still redacting shit.
There's a few more legacy people still hanging on. We get another decade and enough handful of more people that are still alive die, and
Fuck 'em.
maybe some shit will come out.
Fuck them. That's what I say.
It's
Fuck
still
'em.
too soon, Chris. It's still too soon.
Too soon. Too soon. I guess. Jesus fucking Christ. Our next story of the evening. What are we gonna go with? All right, I'll go with one of the ones you sent me. One of the ones you sent me,
good.
Katie.
They're both so good.
How the fuck? Oh, it's from fucking. I get it. I get why it's.
I did that
way.
to prevent the ads, just so you know.
No. The way they set the date up, it's a fucking.
Is it an old article?
No, it's not an old article. It looks like it's from the future, but it's not.
Even better. We're time travelers now.
But it's not, because it's a UK. It's a UK thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
okay.
Anyway, from Marca, that's marca.com. Woman finds dinosaur claw in her garden. Expert response generated more doubts. A truly strange discovery made by Laura Moorcroft, a woman who lives in the United Kingdom, together with her husband in their garden, found what looked like the claws of a dinosaur. The discovery was made at their house in Wales, United Kingdom. The bizarre animal part went viral on social media as people speculated as to what it could be. In the words of the woman who found the claw, the event left her in shock because in appearance, the limb found had the appearance of a somewhat alive remains of an extinct species or one of those that appear in the famous movie saga Jurassic Park. Laura commented that at first glance, the finding looked like a claw similar to that of a lizard, but she did not think it belonged to a dinosaur since she and her husband are fans of the movie directed by Steven Spielberg. Well, that gives her all the credence in the world. It looks prehistoric to us. A scaly lizard-like claw, she said. We're big fans of Jurassic Park, so we instantly thought it was from a dinosaur.
Wow, that's so silly.
Oh, God. So I'm not going to keep going with this. People thought it might have been a bird, which it probably is.
It does look lizardy.
Yeah, it
looks real lizardy.
I'll show it so that everybody can
maybe
see
crocodilian or something.
I don't think it's a crocodile, but
no, because it's kind of got a thumb to it.
Yeah.
Okay, that is pretty birdy. Damn it. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a bird.
I thought it was cool.
Looks like a fucking bird. It is cool. It's interesting because, without the rest of the creature, for context, it's like, well, what the fuck's that?
Makes you wonder if there were like some like predatory birds warring with each other up in the sky, and one of them lost a foot, because they do that. I see hawks up fighting in the sky with each other all the time.
Dude,
some pretty cool shit. Even if it's not from a dinosaur.
I worry about this bringing extinct fucking species back. I look at this fucking thing right here, okay? And you know what I think of? I don't think a dinosaur.
Pterodactyl. Well, that's a dinosaur.
Terror birds.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See?
I think of fucking terror birds. Those things are terrifying. They're huge. They were carnivorous. And they were fucking terrifying. They just kill people. They lived around the same time as people.
Hopefully they're not bringing those suckers back, right?
There's talk of it.
Well, mammoths, like I get that one. Like, okay, we can bring back some mammoths. Like, I'll approve of that. But nothing that flies. I feel like that should be off limits.
Listen,
that's really dangerous.
You gotta be inclusive. We're woke in our bringing back of creatures. Gotta
science.
Be all inclusive.
Wokeness doesn't apply to science.
Could be woke. No. Bring it all back.
No flying species. Yeah, that shit would be terrifying.
Yeah, terror birds. That's the thing that terrifies me, because I looked into it at one point, and they're huge, and they just fucking kill.
Yeah.
It's what they're designed to do.
Birds in general, when they get past a certain size, are pretty scary. We
Oh, yeah.
have the great blue herons that they're not that big, but I mean, they get pretty fucking big. And I've gotten really close to them over here,
Mhm.
close in our channel. And I think one of those suckers could fuck me up if they really wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
And then the swans that we have the really big, gigantic kind of swans. They're not native here, but assholes set them loose and they breed. And those
Yeah.
things they weigh more than I do. Like the big, strong males, when they get up on land and walk, I'm a small person, but still, like, these fuckers are huge. And they could for sure kill a small child if they tried.
My fucking parakeet got loose today and bit me. That motherfucker hurt.
Yeah.
Let me
Birds are
tell you
kind of
something.
scary.
Let me tell you something. That shit hurts.
Those beaks, yeah. They got the beaks, they got the claws,
That's
they
just
got the
they're
wings.
little fuckers. That son of a bitch
Yeah.
is no bigger than this. He's no taller than that. His beak is tiny.
Because he's a little dinosaur.
My fucking finger hurt. Little bastard.
I had a friend growing up that was really afraid of birds, like genuinely so afraid of birds. And I used to make fun of her for it so hard. And the older I get, I feel so bad for making fun of her because, like, the older I get, birds are kind of scary.
You know who's afraid of birds?
Isn't Steve afraid of birds?
Matt Knapp.
Oh, really?
Matt
Oh,
Knapp.
yeah. I could see that.
Speaking of which, Steve said that he spoke to him the other day.
Oh, yeah?
I guess Steve's gonna hate that I brought this up, but
Does Steve listen?
I don't know. I don't know if Steve's been listening. He's listened to a couple of
we'll
shows.
Find out now.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve.
So I guess a woman wants to interview him about the Norm Glasser
Oh, no shit.
photo. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
I told him, well, that'll be like, shooting heads in a fucking case or fish in a barrel, as it were.
Right. Well.
That whole fucking thing. That one of the more funny things that ever happened on the Fortean slip. Now, I will never forget Steve coming to us all excited. Super excited with this fucking picture. Holy shit, I fucking got this. I can interview the guy, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, have at. Go for it. This was me. Just
Yeah, just give him
have
the rope.
that rope, buddy.
Take it.
You
as
just
much as
fucking
you need.
Keep going. And I just, did my thing on the show, and I giggled my ass off when it came out that was a fucking hoax.
I say it was the one that got him, man.
I beat the shit out of him because I was like, dude, I just fucking sat back. Just sat back and waited for the other shoe to drop on this one. And
I think that was the time I
it.
first started listening to you guys, and I do remember that and all the banter.
God. That was
a lot of shit was thrown.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Those were the good old days.
There have been some. There was one time, and I won't name the person, but fucking God, Matt had fucking called somebody a slut or something, and I had to
Matt
fucking
did?
Yeah. Oh God, I had to edit the fucking show. That was back before we did it live too, so I was able to, even before it went out. I had to go into the show, listen for the spot, find it, beep it out.
Did you do that because he asked you to, or because you thought that you should?
I don't think he gave a sweet fuck, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
I don't think he cared. I cared.
Right.
Because I got a lot of threats at one point in time.
Well, and there was like more of an active Bigfoot community at that time. It was much more It's different than it is now.
There was a lot of attacks that came my way.
It's what happens on the internet.
From peoples in the Bigfoot community. But yeah.
Those were wild times.
Good old Adam Davis, or Davies, as people mispronounce his name.
Yeah, that's how I would have said it.
I wonder how he's doing these days. I wonder how Mr. Davis is faring these lovely days. I'm curious. Good times. Good fucking times. Anyway, excuse me. God damn. Dinosaur claws. I don't think so. I think it's a fucking bird claw.
Yeah. If that thing was in my yard, I would have taken a picture of it and put it on the internet too, to be fair. It was cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Let's see. What do we got? All right. From pennlive.com. That's PENN live.com. Folk healer, medicine woman, and PA saint, the legend and history behind Mountain Mary. Among folk legends and historical figures from the early German settlers in Pennsylvania, one of the most colorful characters is known as Mountain Mary. Various tales refer to Mountain Mary as a healer, a wise woman, a saint, and a practitioner of a kind of traditional medicine called, I am not going to get this one right, Braucherei. Braucherei? I don't know.
Yeah,
a system of healing charms and folk magic that invokes religious figures for protection, good luck, and good health. In addition to her knowledge in medicine and healing, legends speak about Mary visiting people in dreams or foiling witches and evil spirits. But what is the truth behind the myths of folk magic and miracles? Historian Patrick J. Donmoyer, author of the book Powwowing in Pennsylvania, Brochere and the Ritual of Everyday Life, said that according to one historical record, Mountain Mary was guided by more than human judgment. There's this allusion to the idea that Mountain Mary somehow knew things that other people did not, Don Moyer said. In Pennsylvania Dutch, there's a phrase that people use to describe a powwower. Jesus Christ, there's all kinds of fucking words I can't pronounce. Sai can me way brought essay, meaning she can do more than eat bread. And it implies that this person had knowledge or understanding or capacities that were beyond the normal human abilities. Don Moyer is also director of the Pennsylvania German Cultural Heritage Center at Kutztown University of Pennsylvania, and the center is currently hosting an exhibit on Mountain Mary. Don Moyer will be part of a live presentation about Mary from 2 to 4 p.m. on March 19th. This is an old fucking... I fucking got this from the last week. Yeah, published April 6th. Interesting, Katie. But on March 19th.
Helpful.
Okay, great. All right, hold on. Let me find my spot here. As one of the most popular legends among the Pennsylvania Dutch, Don Moyer said, Mountain Mary's legend often obscures the reality of her biography. So there's a lot of conflicting information out there. What is known is that her real name was Anna Maria Young, and that she was born in 1744 in what is now Germany. And that's Young with a J. I'm assuming it's pronounced Young. She and her family immigrated to Germantown in the British colony of Pennsylvania sometime around 1765, while some of her family moved on to New York by 1790, Young had settled in the Ole Valley with her sister and mother in what is today Pike Township. Curiously, Don Moyer said, Young appears in the census as Mary the Abbess. While Young's religious denomination isn't clear, little evidence suggests that she was a literal nun in the Roman Catholic tradition. Instead, the title may have been an honorific bestowed by the community for a wise woman who lived alone. In the years that followed, Mary accumulated this reputation for being a positive person in her community, as being a spiritual leader, as being a healer, Don Moyer said, although there's very little documentation of precisely what kind of healing she did. She did some healing, all right. What is known is that Mary became a beloved figure in the region, gathering a reputation that Don Moyer compared to European folklore of saint-like figures. In one account from the early 1800s, Don Moyer said a Quaker man traveled from Philadelphia to the Ole Valley in the company of a doctor to visit friends, one of whom was pregnant. After meeting with the family, the group then went to see Mary, then in her 70s, for what seemed to be a consultation on the pregnancy. So he's traveling with a doctor, and then they go to visit another healer, Don Moyer said. And he describes Mary. She's at the end of her life. She's 75 years old. She welcomes them to the property. She shows them around, and Mary then prepares a lunch for them when they come back. According to this account, after presenting lunch for the group, bread, butter, fruit, and vegetables, all of which was grown, harvested, and prepared from things grown on her property, Mary shifted to speaking in German, translating through an interpreter, in what Don Moyer called a religious strain. On matters of the spirit, she prefers to speak in German, he said. The visitor talks about her as being this pious person, this revered religious leader. It's a fascinating thing. In addition to being a productive farmer, beekeeper, and consultant on issues such as pregnancy, Don Moyer said records also said that Mary practiced vivisection, though he believes this was likely meant to be a venesection or bloodletting, which was a common medical practice at the time. And this goes on and on and on, Katie, and I'm not going to keep going. But she was a fucking wise woman.
I say that sounds pretty fascinating.
That is pretty interesting. And there's a lot of stories about women that, live, well into their late years, on their own somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
When I went on my fucking honeymoon, we went to the Blue Ridge Mountains there. The Blue Ridge Mountain Parkway. There's a fucking house you go by. It's this little shack out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And the signs and everything there talks about this fucking lady that lived there. It's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
And I think about my grandmother. Like, my grandmother lived to be 91, 93.
Yeah.
But I remember, being a kid, she basically lived on her own. Like, my father and my uncles would go over and help her out and shit. But she did everything on her own.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. It's wild. When somebody does live to be that old, the knowledge that they've obtained through all those years,
Oh, yeah.
the wisdom.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that she couldn't do. She didn't drive or anything like that. So somebody had to take her to the store and shit like that. But,
right.
it was crazy, the way she lived.
Yeah.
Just fucking crazy. But yeah, I thought that one was kind of interesting. It's not our typical fucking story, but,
but it's
cool. Yeah, it was an interesting one, I thought. So I grabbed it. And our next story of the evening, from WBOY.com. What is the Vegetable Man of West Virginia? The Vegetable Man of West Virginia is a little-known hoax that is said to have occurred in Marion County, near Grantown, just north of Fairmont. It was first described in an issue of Gray Barker's newsletter from March 1976 as thin and plant-like, with yellow eyes, pointed ears, and suction cup fingers with needle tips. Gray Barker, a Braxton County native and Clarksburg resident, was a known hoaxer from the 50s through the 80s who specialized in UFOs and paranormal events, and a collection of his research and hoaxer? What the fuck's a hoaxer? And a collection of his research and correspondences kept in Clarksburg Harrison Public Library. Among Gray Barker's extensive collection is a first-hand account from Jennings H. Frederick that details the vegetable man. Barker described Frederick as an amateur rocket expert, lately turned UFO investigator, who claimed that he and his mother had multiple encounters and sightings of the vegetable man. Frederick's mother, Iva, said she witnessed the creature shoveling grass and dirt into a bag it carried, and that she first mistook it for a child until it boarded a flying saucer and flew off.
Oh, Jesus.
Frederick described his own far more intense encounter on a beautiful midday July day in 1968. Jennings Frederick was walking through the woods during an unsuccessful hunt for woodchuck when he heard a jabbering voice that he said sounded like a sped up recording. According to Barker's newsletter, this is what it said: "You need not fear me. I wish to communicate. I come as friends. We know of you all. I come in peace. I wish medical assistance. I need your help." Surprised, Frederick felt his arm catch on a patch of brambles. When he looked down, he realized that what he thought were brambles were actually a 3-fingered hand that was green like a plant. Frederick said the fingers were 7 inches long with needle-like tips and suction cups, which had attached themselves to his arm. He heard a suction sound and knew blood was being drawn, said the newsletter. The creature reminded Frederick of the stalk of some huge, ungainly plant, but the creature was surprisingly strong. Its eyes turned from yellow to red as they began to spin, hypnotizing Frederick and distracting him from the pain in his arm. Frederick believed the transfusion lasted about a minute until it released him and ran up the hill, covering 25 feet or more in each leap, like a modern spring-heeled jack. Despite being a mostly unknown story, the creature influenced author Michael Strayer to write a children's book all about the Veggie Man, Curious Creatures, the Vegetable Man, who walks around West Virginia in search of help in order for him to return home. Strayer, also known as Moth Boy Mike, has his own podcast called Moth Boys that focuses on cryptids, conspiracies, and unknown events. And here is your picture of...
There's a picture.
Oh, fuck yeah, there is.
Of course
Fuck
there is.
yeah.
What was I
there
thinking?
is, Katie. You gotta have a picture. That one. There's the vegetable man sucking the blood out of the dude. And then there's this one.
Jesus fucking Christ. Looks like a fucking Gumby doll that like spent through some shit.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it looks like.
Wow.
Good
That's
stuff.
It's a story. It's a story.
Yeah. 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 I
Wow.
think so. All right. So I don't know if this one has video or not. We're going to find out. There's so from our next story from the sun.com, alien alert, model in UFO mystery as bizarre craft flies past her plane at 20,000 feet, crystal clear footage. So I'm just gonna let you see this shit, Katie. I'm not gonna go reading this shit.
Cut to the chase.
Let's just get on it. These are images from said video. And
okay, cool.
Have you ever seen The Flight of the Navigator?
I have. I loved that movie when I was a little kid.
That's what that reminds me of.
Indeed, it does. And I think maybe my initial reaction was that looks photoshopped. Now, I say that as a person who has no digital media knowledge whatsoever.
With Allegra, allergies don't hold us back.
But that really looks
Allegra starts
photoshopped to
working
me
2
for some
times
reason.
faster than Claritin.
No, we gotta
And
watch
unlike
it.
Zyrtec, it won't make us drowsy. Allegra gives you the fastest, non-drowsy 24-hour allergy relief, so you can live
There you
your
go.
greatness.
Have your ad. All right, here it is. Where is it? Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Huh. Where's Phil when you need him? Where's Phil when you need him? That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. That's pretty clear. So, my bullshit meter kind of goes off. I'm trying to see if there's any more pictures. No, I just think there's just those.
The video's more convincing than the image.
Yeah.
But kind of looks like a stingray flying through the sky.
A stingray. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Fly to the Navigator, man. I don't think I've seen that movie since I was like 8.
You are the navigator.
Oh, man. That's like deep in the recesses of my mind, but it's there. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old fucking Disney movies. My green screen's just all fucked up tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to do some finagling, I guess. All right. And our title story of the evening, Katie, from space.com. Eerie red. Jeez, if I could fucking talk tonight. Eerie ring of red light flashes like a massive UFO above Italy. What is it? What is it, Katie? An enormous circular halo of eerie red light, which looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, recently flashed in the night sky above Italy. The bizarre disk appeared and disappeared within milliseconds, meaning most people likely missed the strange spectacle. But one person, nature photographer Walter Benotto, managed to capture a shot of the luminous halo in the sky above the town of Passagno in northern Italy on March 27th. However, the red ring was not actually located above the town. Instead, the massive circle, which was around 224 miles in diameter, blinked above central Italy and part of the Adriatic Sea. It was only a forced perspective that made the ring look as if it were hanging above the town. And here is the picture, Katie, for you to see. It's kind of neat.
Whoa.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That's creepy. That's
but nothing supernatural or anything. Just kind of
looks pretty fucking supernatural. That's wild.
Probably just a fucking. What is it? Here it is. The ring flash is known as an emission of light and very low frequency perturbations due to electromagnetic pulse sources, or ELV for short. ELVs are a rare type of stratospheric mesospheric perturbation resulting from intense thunderstorm electrification. The red rings are created when electromagnetic pulses given off by the lightning hit Earth's ionosphere. That's cool.
That's very cool.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Wow.
But spoiler alert, not aliens. Not aliens. It's not.
It's almost aliens. Even cooler that it's not aliens.
I mean, I'd like aliens. Maybe.
No, we don't need.
Probably not. If that was aliens, it'd probably be the end.
Yeah, I would say we don't need that.
That's fucking Independence Day. If it's aliens, it's fucking Independence Day. We all know it.
I feel much better going to bed at night thinking it wasn't aliens. So
right. All right, I'll find. You had some interesting ones. Do we want to do the Dalai Lama story?
I told you that is fully up to your discretion, sir. I left that up to you.
I'm leaving that one to you, Chris. You stick your foot in that pile of shit if you want.
I just found the link. That's it.
From MSN.com. Woman who married a ghost on Halloween now wants an exorcism. Does she now? A woman who married a ghost is now considering an exorcism as her husband is making her life hell. Rocker Brocarde, 38, from Oxfordshire, married her husband Eduardo, 5 months after meeting him on Halloween last year, but she says that now she wants to end their marriage as Eduardo, who she claims is a ghost of a victorious soldier, is stalking her. Yeah. What?
It's creative.
Well, wait. Didn't she marry him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Her ghost husband has ended up haunting her using the screams of a crying baby. She told Daily Star, "I am at the end of my tether. I don't want to admit defeat, but it feels like being married to a ghost doesn't work." Duh. Picardi also said she has been experiencing deep, dark thoughts lately, which she has linked to Eduardo because he is not best pleased about her wanting to end their relationship. The singer and songwriter even turned to a medium at the start of the year for marriage counseling. Oh, did she? But she added that Eduardo did not want to take it seriously.
Marriage counseling with a ghost.
Brocardi said she did not believe in ghosts until she met her husband, who appeared out of the blue in her room.
She didn't believe in ghosts until she...
No, until she met her husband.
She married the first one she met.
Fucking right. Fucking right.
Oh my God.
The pair decided to tie the knot. The pair decided to tie the knot, Katie, at an abandoned chapel on the 31st of October and honeymooned at Berry Island. So she honeymooned at Berry Island by herself. However, last year she admitted it was hard to find a church that would marry them on this morning, and also said that her husband did not like Philip Schofield. I don't know who the fuck that is, but anyway. Brocardi has said previously said that their wedding was attended by Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, and even Henry VIII.
Jesus.
I am. As it was open to both the living and the dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an entertaining story.
She is all kinds of crazy.
Well, I mean, none of us saw that going poorly. So, I mean, good on her for learning that life lesson for the rest of us. Don't marry the first ghost you meet. It's not going to go well.
I guess. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't.
That is next level crazy.
Anywho, I guess our final story of the night, maybe our final story forever,
maybe
from MSN.com, which is from Newsweek.com, I guess. I'm assuming it's from Newsweek because it says Newsweek at the top of the article. What full video of the Dalai Lama kissing boy reveals? Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, issued an apology on Monday after a widely shared social media video showed him kissing a schoolboy on the lips and asking the child to, quote unquote, suck my tongue.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh.
Goddamn.
The cringe factor is so bad.
God damn. Maybe I should change the fucking title of this video.
It's so
His
bad.
Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. The Dalai Lama said through his office, His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident. Footage of the February 28th incident captured in a broadcast by the Tibetan arm of the United States government-backed Voice of America showed the Dalai Lama interacting with about 100 student graduates of India's M3M Foundation at his temple in McLeod-Ganj, which is in Dharamshala in the northern Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. After the young boy asked the Dalai Lama for a hug, the child was invited to greet the religious leader, who asked for a kiss on the cheek, gave the boy a kiss on the lips, and said, "Suck my tongue." The boy appeared to stick out his tongue, but the pair separated after touching foreheads and shared a laugh to applause from the crowd. Now you should look to those good human beings who create peace and happiness, the Dalai Lama told the boy. You should not follow those human beings who are always killing other people. At the end of the 2-minute clip, the boy nodded and the pair shared another hug. They then laughed as the Dalai Lama appeared to tickle him.
Oh, it was so weird.
Social media users on Twitter and elsewhere who shared another 20-second video of the same incident accused the Tibetan leader of sexual assault. Those who responded to the longer edit also said the conduct was inappropriate. The Dalai Lama, 87, has lived in exile in India since 1959 after a failed uprising against China's annexation of Tibet nearly a decade earlier. Beijing considers him a separatist for his decades of philanthropy and his promotion of Tibetan Buddhism language and culture. Yeah.
So I watched that clip.
Oh, yeah? You checked it out?
I did.
Oh, Farmer Fred Smith weighing in. Say it isn't so.
It's so bad.
Farmer Fred Smith, you're hearing it right here. It's so.
It is.
And it's bad, according to Katie.
It's only like a 2-minute clip or something, maybe 3 minutes. Oh, and I cringed the whole way through it. Now, I will acknowledge there's some cultural differences to like acknowledge. I get it.
Okay.
I don't know, a single culture where you ask little kids to suck your tongue and you stick your tongue out within an inch of their face. Because that's what he did. Oh, it was so bad. Oh, and it reminded me of how awkward and weird that whole Keith Raniere thing and the Dalai Lama thing was.
Yeah, like he went and met with Keith Raniere.
It's made me like think back to like, okay, why do I have this preconceived positive thing about the Dalai Lama? And I really don't know much about the guy, if I'm being honest, you know. He's just got this like, everybody thinks he's so great. Why is he sucking on little kids' tongues? I'd like to know, please. It's not okay.
Like, what the fuck is going on? What?
It's the cringiest clip I've seen in a long time, and there's a lot of cringy stuff out on the internet. And I consume a lot of it.
Do they have it on there?
Yeah. Oh, it's on YouTube. Yeah. There's a little
Oh, they're showing it right now. Ah!
It's so awkward. It's so it just makes you physically respond while you're watching it. Like, what's happening?
We're gonna watch it.
And this poor little kid, he handles it so well for a little boy.
It, and I'm changing the title of this fucking podcast.
I know. I'm so sorry I did this to you all.
Oh, here it is, folks. Here it is. Dun dun dun. Oh. Dun dun dun. Oh. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun.
This little boy has to be like 7, 8, 9.
Ah!
It's so. And like I said, I get cultures are different with touch and greetings, and some of it might be explainable. The tongue is not explainable to me. Yeah, he literally asked him before he stuck his tongue out. He said, "Now you suck my tongue." That's what he said in English. You suck my tongue. And then he proceeded to stick his tongue out for it to be sucked in front of a group of hundreds of people. He did this. There's no explanation.
Oh my. Whoa. Oh. Wait a minute.
It's so bad.
What?
I told you it makes you physically react when you watch it because you're just like, no.
It's creepy.
Look at that little kid. He was pulling away so hard. He didn't want this old man kissing
on him. It's creepy.
It's
creepy. What's the fucking Dalai Lama doing?
I'm so sorry I've ruined everyone's day.
Dude.
Yep.
What the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
And he also said that he wants to live another 20 years.
Oh. Oh, does he?
Yeah, he does. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Another 20 years of tongue sucking.
Wow.
I'm surprised that wasn't a bigger headline today, to be honest with you.
Holy shit. I had something else I was going to bring up today and I can't remember. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about today. And I didn't do anything to prep for it at all. Do I still have the fucking video saved somewhere? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Do you remember when I talked, and you probably know this case anyway, but do you remember the Missy Beaver?
Isn't that the church security footage one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one very well.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Yeah, that's the one right there. Extended view of the Midlothian church suspect. I'm pretty sure we can just say that this person isn't the suspect. They're probably the fucking murderer. But anyway, I had when I at one point I went down this like true crime rabbit hole, deep into the true crime rabbit hole. And I'd come across the story of Missy Beavers, and I'd come across it on the That Chapter YouTube channel, which if anybody hasn't checked it out, That Chapter,
He's
Mike, he's a pale Irish fuck.
He's a charming little bastard.
He's great. He's fucking great. And that's how I got introduced to it. I was insanely creeped out by this video that I'm about to show you. I've read a lot of stuff about serial killers. I've read a lot of accounts of what's like happened. I've been pretty creeped out by some stuff. This video, nothing happens in this video. Zero happens in this video. You don't see anything happen to her. She's not even in the video. This is literally just video of this individual. They don't know if it's a male or a female. Walking around this church, in and out of rooms, checking rooms, prior to the murder. This is before Missy Beaver shows up at the church for her, what was it, like an exercise class or some shit?
Yeah, it was like a fitness group class that she led.
Yeah, and she was, excuse me. She was very active on social media, constantly like posting, like, let's, very positive. Let's do this.
Yeah, like a fitness influencer.
Yeah. And was always showing up early and doing her shit. But after she was murdered, they released the video of this surveillance footage from the church. Now there's footage of the car as well. I know that. I don't think that's in this video. All they show is just the person walking around the church. And this creeped me out more than a lot of the shit that I've ever read about or had described, it's just fucking creepy. You
It's
know this
haunting.
person. Yeah. Yeah. That's much better. It's haunting. It you know that this person is going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't see anything. It's sort of like that Alfred Hitchcock style of, we don't show anything, we just show
Right,
up
but it
to it.
still freaks you the fuck out.
Right.
Well, and
It's what
whoever
you
it is
don't
so
see that's
calm.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. The way they walk around, so very calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So without further ado, this is from the Midlothian Church, and
In
this,
Texas, wasn't it?
I believe, in Texas. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is the actual video, and this is crazy. The person is behind that door that just opened. They are in like full SWAT gear. Like full fucking SWAT gear. I think it even says police on it.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Just checking doors.
They even identified some of the specific like the brand of boots they were wearing and matched them up and stuff. And it's like real tactical gear that's being
Right.
worn. Civilian obtained, but tactical gear.
Yeah. Not that hard to obtain. But it's just fucking nonchalant. Just hanging out.
That walk is so distinctive.
It's so fucking weird to watch this. To know
know,
that
like, what would they do?
he or
Like,
she is going.
you think of
And I say,
casing the place?
I don't know if it's casing or just making sure there's no one else there.
Yeah,
You know, it's,
that's true.
and I say he or she because they don't know.
Right. They really legitimately got nothing.
Right. There's nothing to indicate this could easily be, male or female.
So creepy.
Yeah.
They did vet out, and there was a guy who was like working security at a funeral at the same church, and a lot of people think it was him because of the way he
Really?
walked and he was shaped exactly like this person. And everybody thinks it was this guy, but apparently the police have ruled him out. No evidence to say why they've ruled him out, but that always stuck with me. Everybody thinks it's that guy, and I'm not gonna lie. You look at this guy and you're like, bro, yeah, you look pretty suspect right now. He walks the same like duck-footed way with a little hobble.
Yeah.
It's so similar, but the police have never nailed him. So,
well, they thought it was the father-in-law.
the dad, yes.
But they thought that the husband had something to do with it.
The way that got ruled out seemed a lot more believable. They gave a lot more information for why they ruled him out.
Right.
But this other guy is still super suspicious to me. But I don't know. I've gone deep on this case too. I mean, this is like one of those big lingering mysteries that the true crime world still wonders about.
Somebody fucking is getting away with this.
Oh, it's so
somebody
sad.
out there is a murderer. God knows, and we don't even know if it's just this one murder.
Right.
Ultimately, this person could be responsible for fucking multiple murders. We don't know.
Yeah. Not all churches have security cameras too. I mean, I don't know how many people have been getting murdered in churches in Texas, but
I wonder what they're hitting there. It doesn't say in the video.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've looked into the case, but
I do remember the
was
parking lot footage too.
yeah, there's footage of the vehicle going in and out of a parking
Mhm.
lot and in and out of the I believe out of the church parking lot too. But there's footage from somewhere else where it pulls in and it parks
It's
for
like
a
a
little
neighboring
while.
business to the church.
Yeah.
They turn their
Beforehand.
lights off and sit there, and then they turn them back on, and then they pull out real slow and weird.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. I think I did a deep dive on it and did a write-up for
Yeah,
it
we've
for
done
the
it.
old
We've done
show.
it. We've done deep dives on it before.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it up. I didn't have anything crazy for the true crime aspect of the show tonight, but that's one that shook me.
Oh yeah.
Like watching that
That's a
video.
crazy one.
And if you only listen to the audio podcast, pop up the video and check out. You can look up the video, the Missy Beavers. It's Bevers. Uh, I'm telling you, it's creepy as fuck. Or you could just watch the video of the podcast. We
Right.
showed the video.
Stephanie
during the fucking
Harlow does a
podcast.
really good. I think she even does a 2-parter, and
Yeah.
it's a good one too.
I'll have to check that out because I love going into some deep dives on some of this stuff because and finding out new information. The Mike, that chapter just did one on the Idaho murders.
Yeah, and I didn't watch that particular one because I've seen so much about that case. That's one I
Here's
actually
something that
skipped.
I didn't. Here's something that I didn't realize. Because that one I was paying attention, then I wasn't. I've kind of been in and out of it. I did not know that the police pulling him and his father over was just mere coincidence.
Yeah.
The FBI was watching him at that time, like actively watching him.
But Indiana
the
pulled him over
police had
anyway.
no idea
Yeah.
that he was being watched when they pulled him over.
Those were legitimate, like not sketchy pullovers.
Right. And they wound up pulling him over like 3 times.
Twice in Indiana. And I
it
don't
was like
remember
3
where
times total.
I think the third one was in Colorado before that. I
Yeah,
could be
but
wrong.
That's fucking crazy. Like, it's just crazy that, just by chance.
Yeah.
And
have you watched that body cam footage of him being pulled over?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
It's not good.
No, his eyes are fucking boom.
He looked like he wanted to be like, shut up, Dad. So bad.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
It's different, but yeah, I watched through that, and I had heard that one of the roommate. Now, this is something I do not understand at all about this case. One of the roommates saw him leave.
Yes.
And nobody called the police until the following morning.
There's a lot of context there. Because I admit, that is super weird. You hear that and you're like, what the fuck? But when you get all the context, it still sucks. No matter what way you cut it, it still sucks that something maybe could have been done sooner and it didn't.
Right.
But with all the context, it does make sense as to this was a college party house. All the people had independent rooms that they stayed in and independent schedules.
Yeah.
And it was often that this roommate was awoken to a ruckus in the middle of the night. That wasn't a strange thing for her to encounter. And the bystander effect of like, well, I live with fucking 6 other people. I'm sleeping. It'll be fine.
Now, I'd heard that she went back into the room to hide.
She never left her room. She cracked the door to peek on what the ruckus was. And at first she didn't see anything. She just heard some more things and laid back down. And then she got up again. And then she saw it was dark, but she did see a guy walking wearing dark clothing, bushy eyebrows. And he was just like beelining out the house.
Yeah.
And she didn't think anything of it because they always had people in and out of the house. There was lots of people. Those other roommates having other friends over wasn't a strange thing. So for her to see a strange dude she didn't recognize, she was still kind of creeped out because of the noise she was hearing, but she was half asleep. She was probably half drunk from partying and just went and laid back down.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense, but
It's
still the whole thing is fucking
It is.
what was his name? Brian Kohlberger?
Yeah.
Fucking what a weird situation.
Well, and now they've kind of let out of the bag that they're really trying to link him to some other murders in Pennsylvania now where he's from. And they think he could be a possible serial killer. Now, that's obviously all media speculation at this point, but they're looking into it.
Well, he definitely was casing them out according to that chapter video. His cell phone was pinged like in the area multiple times prior to the murders. And there was no reason for him to be over there.
The biggest thing that's going to sink him that I feel like can make us all just like, we don't even need to see the trial. They found one of the victim's IDs in his possession.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And
they have DNA, his DNA at the scene on an accessory to a weapon. You put those two things together, you're not convincing a jury that he wasn't involved.
Yeah, because he left the sheath to the knife there, right?
And the sheath to the knife had his DNA on it. So when you have the sheath with his DNA on it at the scene, and then one of those victims' IDs in his personal possession, 1 + 1 = 2, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
I know innocent until proven guilty, but to me, that's like.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty much a slam dunk with this kid.
Yeah.
I think the more interesting question is going to be, like you were saying, is he tied to these other murders? Is he or was he a serial killer in the making? Because I think it's 3 that they consider to be a serial killer.
Separate times and locations. And so this would, I think, technically be considered a mass.
This is a mass.
Murder?
Yes, this is like a spree or spree.
It was all in one location. It would have to be multiple locations
spree
to be
has to be spree has to be multiple.
So this is just a mass murder, which I just said just as if it's not a big deal. That was gross. I'm so sorry.
It's a weird thing to talk about, and we're human. Myself, I'm going to try to find the lighter side of anything, no matter how dark it is. So, if you can't take that, fuck yeah. That's my take on it. Yes, they're dark things, they're horrible things, but every once in a while you got to try to find something to laugh at, and that's my take on it. But I got thinking, for some reason I got thinking about the Missy Beavers thing recently, over like the past weekend, and
that
I was
footage
like,
stays with you. It doesn't without having resolve to it. It's so creepy.
And I can't even remember how long ago that happened. It's been a while and it's still unresolved.
I want to say it was like 2010 to 12, maybe.
That's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
And still no resolution, no suspect, no nothing.
2016.
It was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 7 years without a fucking resolution. That's nuts. That's fucking crazy. So, but I wanted to share that because like I said, I'd been thinking about it, and I wanted to bring it up again. We'll have to do another deep dive on that one, do an update, see where they're at with it. At some point, once we get things situated and get the the actual layout of the show completely figured out, because I think what we're gonna wind up having to do is do like a 2-hour thing, and what we'll try to do, and we'll test it next week. I think Katie will do we'll do a break at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that we'll test the break to see if we can go to break, put on some music for the folks for the little break period, so that we can hit the facilities, grab anything that we need to grab, and come back and then finish up the show with the last hour being the true crime and the cult section of the show. We just had like a bunch of people just like pop in. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, howdy.
yeah, fucking
Welcome all.
now they're all a mass exodus. Boom, 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 boom. Fuck this shit. You guys missed the Dalai Lama kissing a kid. You guys
I'm
missed
so
it.
sorry.
I gotta
again.
change the name of the show now, because
My deepest apologies.
fucking let a kid suck his tongue.
Oh, just saying it. Those words, I don't like.
I know it's fucking weird. So if you're just joining us, go back afterwards and watch
Enlighten
that shit.
yourself with the Dalai Lama.
We will be back next week. I don't think that the nights will be changing. I think my schedule is going to be staying pretty much the same. I don't think I'm going to be switching over to a different set of days. So I think Monday nights are going to remain the night of the show. So we will be back next Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come join us. Those of you who do not listen live, pop in, listen live, join the chat. Farmer Fred Smith's been here all night.
Hey, Fred.
Join in, say something. We usually acknowledge the people that are here, because we don't have that many, to be honest, that listen live. So come in, say hi, and we will we'll give you some kudos at least. Christ, still no fucking pterodactyl though, Farmer Fred Smith. A little upset with that. So if you could get on that would be helpful. So until next week on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, be good to one another, ladies and gentlemen. It's a cruel, dark world out there, as we showed you tonight with that video. It's just cruel. It's dark. Stay vigilant and be good to one another. Farmer Fred Smith says he's still looking. So keep looking, Fred. I want some pterodactyl. Until next time, see you, folks.